We can also start to reimagine document experiences and transform document workflows via cloud-based web services. So rather than people accessing documents, even the integrations that we've got in Microsoft Teams and other applications in M365, we can start to automate document workflows. And we have a series of APIs that have been designed for developers, and also some Power Automate connectors or API wraparounds, if you like, for those familiar with Microsoft's Power Platform, that low-code suite of products to help transform processes. And those API wraparounds, or those Power Platform connectors, because this is a low-code platform, are designed for citizen developers in that low-code canvas area. And just to give you an example of the document cloud APIs that are available, we have the PDF accessibility auto tag to allow us to ensure that our documents are accessible. We have the PDF electronic seal API, which again will allow us to create those e-seal documents, applying that cloud digital certificate to ensure documents are tamper evident and secured. PDF extract, document generation, so we can create documents with dynamic content in them ahead of an e-signature journey, and PDF embed as well. The Power Platform connectors that we have available are essentially all of the above wrapped into what we call Adobe PDF services, and also the Adobe Acrobat sign there. So now both developers and citizen developers can automate document workflows, including approvals, document or PDF generation with dynamic content from newly captured or existing data that resides in a database, can secure and make tamper-evident PDF documents using e-seal and digital certificates, automatically applying those e-rubber stamps, if you like, and send a document on its e-signature journey. So let's just have a look at what a document workflow example might look like. So this I'm going to show you is a 4-step generic process that will cover a whole host of specific processes aligned to operations or line of business across all sectors. So this generic process is essentially data capture. It's an approval step. The data might already exist, but data capture and then approval step, document generation with dynamic content, and then sending a document on its e-signature journey, all automated without users having to log into applications in M365 necessarily, or into Adobe Acrobat and Acrobat Sign. So let's have a look at this then in a bit more detail. The data capture might be maybe using Adobe Acrobat web form in Adobe Acrobat Sign, or using Microsoft Forms for data capture. It might be data that already exists within a database. We might send that process for an approval step. We might use the Microsoft Modern Approval Service, or we might send an adaptive card in Microsoft Teams if we want group approval on that particular document workflow. Once approved, then we might use the PDF services Power Platform connector to add dynamic content to a template document that we might have already prepared in Microsoft Word, and then send the document on its e-signature journey using the Adobe Sign connector. And all of this might be kickstarted by simply somebody filling in a Microsoft form here that triggers this whole automated process. And therefore, users are not having to go into specific documents, set up agreements, add dynamic content themselves. It's all done automatically. Let's have a look then. So we'll go through those 4 steps, if you like, and just see a demo of this. Capturing information. In this case, we're going to be completing the Microsoft Forms. The approval step will be the modern approval service in M365. And we're going to create a document with dynamic content and then send it on its e-signature journey. So this document here is an example of a template that we might have. This document, we can see some what we call merge fields in there. We can also see some e-signature merge fields as well. So where these appear in a document, this is where we're going to apply some dynamic content. So we might have a process that we want all of our documents to have consistency, to be laid out in the same manner, but they change each time for each individual or each process that we're applying, and want the signature and dynamic content in the document here. So we'll just go on to this now, and I'm just going to show you this process here. I'm using a SharePoint list here as the single source of truth, if you like. I'm just highlighting now a Teams channel and the post area so that we can see there's no post in there. I'm just showing you my inbox because this is all going to be part of the automated process. Now, I will, for those that are a little bit more technical, just show you the flow that we have in Power Automate here, and just highlight one or two of the steps in our journey. This has been built by a citizen developer. Took around about an hour's time to build this, but it's going to save hours for our end users because essentially we're automating the whole process. So let's just fill in a form now. This is a standard form in Microsoft Forms here. It could be an internal form or an external form. And this is going to be the trigger for our automated document workflow process, including e-signature. Help if I fill this in right. I'll just put the postcode in there. In this case, I'm just filling the form with the first signer and the second signer's email here, just for illustrative purposes and for demo purposes. We would just have our form filled out as usual, and it might be that we're capturing the email address of the signer of the form, or it may be an internal Microsoft Forms that's been completed, and we're capturing automatically the email address of the person filling the form out. Let's hit submit. And we're just going to jump back to the flow, and we're just going to see that that has triggered the flow. It's now running. And if I look into that flow, I can see it's already completed the first few steps. And it's now gone for the manager's approval here. And I can see in that Teams channel, I've now got a post in there. And if I jump into the manager, so I've jumped in as a different persona here, the manager here, I can see that in the modern approval service in Teams, I've got a standard activity feed notification here to say that I've received a new approvals request. I've approved that. And if I jump back to my flow, I can see that that will pick up in a moment now, and it will complete the rest of the process. It's now at the point where it's pushing dynamic content into that Word template. And if I just jump back to my emails, I can see I've got some communications on the back of that flow. I'm sending an email with an attachment. I'm also creating my e-signature agreement using that Adobe Sign connector within Power Automate. I can now see that I've got a new row in my SharePoint list there, and I could see the status of the signature flow at that point. It was out for signature. That will be kept up to date at various points in the e-signature journey. I can see now I've jumped back in as a different persona. I'm now the first signer of that document. So I've received an email. I've clicked on that to open the sign agreement, and I'm signing it. And then that will go to the second signer there to be completed. And the SharePoint list would be updated accordingly from another Power Automate flow that we've got on the back of this. So I'm now receiving this as the second sign. I've jumped back into that persona. And we're going to complete the e-signature agreement process there. I can see the first signer's signature. And I'm going to sign that. As part of that document process as well, that document workflow, I could have another Power Automate flow at the end of it that's updating the signature status. It could also grab that final document, including the audit page as well. So we can attach an audit page to the back of that document, and we can bring that into, say, SharePoint again, so we're not having to log into Power Automate flow. Into Adobe Acrobat Sign to fetch our documents there. So just the final piece there, I'm just taking you into that document that's been signed off there. I can see all of the content that was on the form, the data capture that we went through, and I can see all of the sign information there as well. Let's have another look at a smaller document workflow here. In this case, we're going to use a SharePoint library and a folder within that SharePoint library to upload documents that will then go on an approval journey and also add an e-seal to that document. So this might be a process where you want to make documents secure and tamper evident before they're placed maybe on a website or sent outside of the organization. And we're doing this again automatically using a Power Automate flow rather than somebody having to manually apply an e-seal to a document. So the Word document might just simply be uploaded to a particular SharePoint folder and then sent for approval. Once approved, we're creating a PDF document, and we're using a trust service partner then to apply a cloud digital certificate, i.e. an e-seal or that electronic rubber stamp, if you like, to a document, making the document so it's secure and tamper evident. It can't be adjusted in any way outside of the boundaries that we've said are allowed for any changes to that document. And any attempts to make any changes to that document then are highlighted to the consumer, if you like, and they can check the validity of that cloud digital certificate. So we'll just go through that now. We're going to go through an approval step, create a PDF document, apply an e-seal to make the document non-editable and tamper evident then. So again, I'm just showing you a Power Automate flow. This is for those that are more technically minded, maybe citizen developers, IT pros, just to give you an example of what a document workflow in Power Automate might look like. So I'm in a SharePoint document library here in a folder. And I've got an example HR policy document that I might need to review every year and make any changes to it. And I might need to apply an e-seal to it once it's been approved. So we'll upload that document. That's the only thing that we're going to do in terms of triggering the process. Simply uploading this document into a SharePoint documents library, into a folder in there, will trigger that flow. In a moment, and it does just take a few moments, I've jumped in as a different persona here. So this is the approver. So this might be the head of HR here that's been asked to approve this document as part of the revision process, the annual review. They can open the document directly from the modern approval request that they're seeing in Microsoft Teams. Just opening that, I'll bring that onto my screen now. You'll see that Word document in a moment. And we can review this as a signer, or a reviewer, I should say, an approver. And we can add some comments that we can then ensure they're applied to the document if we wanted to do that, adding dynamic content. We can also add the name of the approver, the date and time that they have approved, and that's all using the PDF Services API wraparound in Power Automate. So the document has now been approved, and it's been converted into a PDF document, and it's had the seal applied using a trusted service partner there for the seal on that document. And I can see that I've got some additional information on that document as well that's been applied in there. And the user, maybe somebody, HR officer that works in the organisation, they've had to do nothing but simply upload that document following their own review of the document into a SharePoint document library. And everything else is triggered automatically. And that e-sealed document is placed in a new folder within that document library once it's been created as a secure and e-sealed PDF document. Here, I just want to show you the document from the consumer's point of view. This may be somebody internal or outside of the organisation that's consuming this document. They can hover over the electronic seal, they can see further information on there, and they can check the validity of that signer certificate. They can also check to see if the document has been tampered with or any changes made to that document that were outside of the boundaries that were allowed changes from the host or the creator of that, an owner of that document. So there's just a few demonstrations there of how we can use some of the integrations that we have with Adobe Acrobat Sign, and also some of the APIs and the API wraparounds that we have in Power Automate to essentially streamline and automate our document workflows.